Castellanos.
Good morning.
Let's first talk about California. There's a couple of primary states today, but I guess the biggest mess is California. They don't really have a party system. Republicans are trailing in terms of party membership, but Republicans are watching California very closely today. Why?
Well, Republicans are not in great shape in California. The Republican Party is running third behind Democrats and independents. The party's kind of collapsed out there. But there's so much anti-Trump enthusiasm in California that the Democrats have flooded their primaries with candidates dividing the vote, and they do have that top two system. So you can get two Republicans or you can get two Democrats. Right now, it's a little bit like Kmart at Christmas. You've got too many shoppers going after that one LED TV. That's where the Democrats are, and two Republicans may walk off with the TV because that's all they have in some of these districts.
So we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out tonight. But the primary philosophy that got Donald Trump the nomination in the first place very well could play out in California.
It could. And it's important for Democrats because they need 23 seats to take the House. There are 7 seats in California alone that are now held by Republicans that Hillary Clinton carried. Those should be prime targets for the Democrats. But, for example, Dana Rohrabacher is the Republican congressman who arm wrestled with Putin, has some bad numbers. That should be a good district for Democrats. But they've got so many candidates dividing the vote, Rohrabacher may get through.
Alex Castellanos, I said, is it possible that I'm in a bizarro world and in a dream? Is it true that the president's lawyer is arguing that he is above the law?
Well, apparently so.
Okay.
The president's lawyer is arguing that the president has the power to pardon himself, and there is some constitutional precedent. Some constitutional scholars are saying that he could possibly do it on Thanksgiving Day when he pardons the other turkeys. But other than that, no, this has never been settled by the Supreme Court or anyone else, and it seems just to be a terribly arrogant display of power. Even Rudy had to admit that the president would be impeached immediately if even by Republicans if he did that.
Also, but what about the rhetoric about him saying he could shoot the former head of the FBI and not get arrested? That's just bizarro conversation for a national conversation about the President of the United States.
Well, Trump is not a man who will say anything without hyperbole. You remember, similar to the comment he made during the campaign, he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and no one would care. And, there is truth in that. I mean, Donald Trump, what's he going to do? Grab women by the private parts? No, he's done that. What's he going to do? Talk about pardoning himself? No, now he's done that. There's very little that can bring this president down, not because of what he says is just not that extreme. Obviously, it is. It's because the American people find the alternatives to him, Democrat and Republican, so objectionable that Donald Trump may be right. He could get away with murder if the alternative is only going back to the Democrats and Republicans of the past.
Well, it would go back to Mike Pence. You're saying that Mike Pence, is that objectionable to the Republican Party?
Well, I think the Republican Party would take him, and I think the Democratic Party would take him, too, because I think the Democrats would think Mike Pence would be easy to beat in a general election, and especially in a country that wanted change. Remember, Mike Pence represents a Republican Party that even Donald Trump crushed.
What's shocking to me is that there are other Republicans in the country who are law and order Republicans that if Lanny Davis would have said during the impeachment trial that Bill Clinton could have raped Monica and not be charged, right? People's heads would explode. But Republicans, they're silent when Giuliani says crazy stuff like this.
They are silent, and I think it tells you how polarized the debate has become. Right now, you're either wearing the Trump jersey or the anti-Trump jersey, and there's no room for anything in between. A lot of Americans are thinking that the Russia investigation, the collusion, this is just politics. Government is trying to undo an election, whether you voted for Trump or not. And so everything is viewed through the prism of politics, not government. This used to be a serious debate. What kind of power does the president have? Now it's just one more political attack.
It almost is like you're watching a game. A football game, a baseball game, a sporting event, and it doesn't matter what my guy does, just as long as your guy's the bad guy. And if your guy gets traded to my team, then he's on my team, not on your team.
You hit it on the head. It's like a game. It's even like a TV show. And you know who's very good at TV shows? Yeah. Donald Trump.
Alex Castellanos, thanks for the insights. Have a good week.
Good to be with you.